Got them all on this week, and now the man running for Attorney General, James Buchal. Hi, James. How are you?
I'm fine. Glad to be here.
Great to have you along. As I said, we've spoken with, once again this week, trying to get everybody on and as much as we can over the next few weeks leading up to November. And one of the things that I've done with each of the candidates this week, kind of focusing more in on letting people understand what exactly the position is. So as you've begun and run in this campaign, what exactly does the Oregon Attorney General do so that people understand?
One of his largest functions is providing legal advice to state agencies. Another one is handling criminal appeals and just generally seeing about the legal business of the state, reviewing contracts and things like that.
So, in essence, it's kind of like, but it sounds you're the state's big attorney, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
For lack of better words.
Yeah, and you have several hundred little attorneys working under you.
Okay. One of the things we've been focusing in, again, with all these statewide campaigns is obviously everybody is concerned about jobs. We just found out this week that there's now 172,000 Oregonians out of work. Now, that sounds like something that's nowhere near Attorney General, but how can the Attorney General position help the economy of Oregon?
I would say it's part of the Attorney General position, because I think we've had decades of attorney generals who think their job is to uphold whatever the agency walks in with as its legal position. And usually this involves stretching the law somehow to get somebody, and very often that get somebody is a business, and very often there's no reason they should be gotten. And we have this adversarial relationship, and we have this history of these attorneys stretching the law in a way that ought to be reined in.
Again, James Buchal, running for Attorney General as a Republican for Oregon. Okay, let me take something, a case in particular, case for lack of a better word, but I was talking earlier with somebody from Judicial Watch in Washington, D.C., and they were talking about the president and his just sweeping decision to grant amnesty to illegals. I talked to this man from Washington, and I said, we've got a kind of a situation out here in Oregon that's similar, not same subject, but similar in that we have a governor who made a sweeping decision to reprieve people on death row while he's governor. What could the Attorney General do, or can the Attorney General do anything about something like that?
I would take a very radical approach to this office, and when somebody wants to do something real stupid, even if it's the governor, and wants to go out and waste my employee's time litigating cases he's going to lose, I'd say no. I'm here to represent the people of Oregon, and if it's in the interest of justice and consistent with the law, not to waste our time on this, I'm not. You know what they did? They put him to death, and they had a big fight over which lawyer, and finally the governor grants him a reprieve. Well, we've got two Supreme Court cases in Oregon that say if you issue a reprieve, the convict's got to accept it. And the convict said, I don't accept it. And then they started litigating about it, okay? They might even appeal it and waste more money, And if Attorney General has more of the view of, I'm here to represent the people, not I'm here to do whatever the state agency wants, he'd say, no, I'm not going to stand. I'll stand up and say, no, we're wrong. We're not going to. It's not all about winning. It's about doing justice.
So in this case, the Attorney General could have said, no, you know what? We're not going forward with this. We're not going to the Oregon Supreme Court. We're not moving forward. The decision's been made by this circuit court judge. It's over.
Yeah. Yeah, and if the answer is that the governor wants to exercise some extraordinary executive authority to tell the people who are going to pull a switch on old Sparky not to do it, so to speak. I know we don't use old Sparky anymore, but then that's a whole other set of legal issues, and maybe if someone sued him for breaking the law, you'd have to say the same thing. The law is what the law is, and we have too many cases where the Attorney General is just, bending the law to help the state win, and that's not what being an Attorney General should be about.
Again, James Buchal, running for Attorney General in Oregon. Let me ask you this: how important is it to know the Oregon Constitution well as Attorney General?
Well, it's a long and complicated document, and you read it and you find all these surprising things in it you didn't know about every time you read it. I was surprised, for example, to find out that casinos are illegal and forbidden in the state of Oregon.
And we have two ballot measures once again about it. So even if the people of Oregon, which I don't think the people of Oregon are going to go for it, but let's just say, just for fun, that the people of Oregon, 75% say, yeah, build that one up in Wood Village. They can't, can they?
They'd have to amend the Constitution to do it, in my view.
And I don't think this ballot measure is a constitutional amendment. I think it's just
I frankly don't know.
As far as I know, it's just a yay or nay. I mean, it's yes or no. And so you're right. There's all kinds of little surprises in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Any other little things that you found out, tidbits that maybe you could kind of pocket away for later on? Not necessarily pocket away, but you know what I mean.
Well, there's a lot of interesting stuff out there. Did you know, for example, that there's a law in Oregon that says all agency rules have to be as simple and clear as possible? Okay?
Wow.
And this is one of those laws, like the 9th and 10th Amendment to the Constitution, that is commonly ignored. But imagine an attorney general who, when the agency comes out with this 100 pages of rules with subsection J4Q little I or whatever, says, I'm sorry, that's not as simple and clear as possible. You can do a better job. I'm not going to enforce that. You go back and make those rules simple and clear.
Ooh.
I mean, people would go berserk, but that's what we need, because we're choking to death in law and rules that are not only unnecessary but badly written.
But let me ask you, I want to be devil's advocate for just a moment. Okay, I know a lot of attorneys, and man, they love to write lots of stuff. So what makes you any different from any other attorney in that respect?
I'm not out. This is not a job that I was so eager to file for that I made it my personal ambition to become Attorney General. I would do this as a public service. I would take a pay cut, and I would recognize that the law is killing us. We're drowning in law. I do a fair amount of work involving the Forest Service and why they're burning the forest down and stuff like that. And they put out a wonderful little report called The Process Predicament, which says if they want to actually do anything on the ground in the forest that has any significance at all, larger than a tent site, they've got to undergo 700 or 800 process points, with these procedures and rules and procedures, and so nothing can happen without spending $10,000 or $100,000 or $200,000 in attorney time trying to dot all these I's and cross all these T's, and the whole system is broken. That's why the forests are burning down and full of bugs.
Yeah, boy, you couldn't have said it any better. Again, James Buchal, running for Attorney General. James, as you've been traveling around the state or from wherever you've been, what would you say, and again, I've asked all the candidates the same question this week. I know the obvious answer when I ask you this is what are people saying to you? What are they concerned about? It's generally the economy, jobs. But maybe if there was a 1A, what would it be that people are really saying, boy, I'd sure like to see this?
I think they're all afraid of the government, and they'd like to see the government reined in. And they don't know exactly what's going wrong, but they know that something real bad is going wrong, and the future is darker and darker because of it. And so it comes out in different ways in different places, and people see little pieces of the elephant, and the elephant in the room is a government that's completely out of control and has become a cancer that's eaten away the republic.
It's from everywhere you go. Even people my personal practice,
I've represented everything from people trying to get child support to people in front of the Interior Board of Land Appeal. And in every little case, people get involved in some little squabble with the government, and they think that it's only in that example that the thing is crazy and Kafkaesque and unworkable. But I know, that it's in all the examples. There's nothing left that works. It's a horrible thing to see it all in this spectacle of decay, the rot from the top on down.
All right. Well, all right. So what are you kind of up to right now? What kinds of things are you doing as far as the campaigning and getting out there? And I know really it's after Labor Day that things are really going to kick in, but still there's a lot of work to do.
Well, there's a lot of traveling around and meeting people. I got up at 4:30 this morning in Cove, Oregon. I went to a breakfast at 7 a.m. in Hermiston, and then I'm going to be in Lake Oswego tonight. And so there's just lots and lots of meeting with people and handing out little postcards and with ideas on them and so forth and so on. It's hard work.
It is. It really is. Website or wherever people so they can get to know you more and they can then step in and do their help, whether it be contributing, feet on the ground, whatever it might be.
My last name, www.buchal.com, B-U-C-H-A-L.
So just buchal.com, B-U-C-H-A-L.
That'll do it.
All right. James, I really appreciate your time today, and I know that you are absolutely out there hammering away, and I really appreciate the fresh approach that you're bringing to this.
Well, I'm always glad to come on and talk about it.
All right.
Give me a call.
We'll do it again. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
James
Bye-bye.
Buchal, running for Attorney General for Oregon, and I tell you, sharp guy.